Okay, so we're here today and it is February 19th, thank you, 2015, and we're talking to Dr. Richard Holmes, and it's Judy Ridner, Nick Timmerman, Michael Murphy. Okay, so Dr. Holmes, what we usually do, as I just said, is start out with some questions about you. So can you tell us when you were born and where you were born and a little bit about your family history?
Yeah. My name is Richard Holmes, of course, and I was born in Chicago, Illinois, in 1944, February 17, 1944. I just had a birthday 2 days ago. I was born in a family of 10 children, 6 boys and 4 girls. And when I was 18 months old, my mother brought me south to live with my grandmother. She was not my grandmother, actually, she was a friend of my real grandmother. And myself and 3 other boys came to live in Mississippi. My grandma had said that she would raise the boys and my mother would keep the girls. We came south, I was 18 months, and I grew up with her. And my grandmother, she passed away when I was 12 years old. But prior to that time, a local physician, Dr. Douglas Corner, had come to town. He was the first African-American doctor in town. I think it was the year of 1952. And in fact, I had a childhood illness. I had tetanus when I was a young boy. In 2nd grade. That was a serious illness, and I remember I stepped on a nail and cut my knee on a piece of tin, and I had a full-blown case of tetanus. So this doctor who just had come to town, my grandma had treated me with local and old-fashioned remedies when she realized that she needed some help. So she sent for this new young black doctor to come in and see her son, and that's how I met him. Anyway, right before she died, a month before she died, she asked Dr. Connor to take care of my son. So why don't you take care of my boy when I die? So she died when I was 12. So after that, I started working with him in his office, and he became my godfather and my mentor. So that's why I worked at his office, and worked in the yard, and he'd asked me to come live with him, and I never did. But at one, I used to also keep the house set when he and his family went on vacation. And one summer they went on vacation. I just took my things to the house. I just moved in and never left.
So now, what was the name of your grandmother you lived with?
Eliza Hunter.
Eliza Hunter. Okay.
She was a widow, and she had always. She said that she was illiterate, uneducated, but we kind of believe that she was more educated than she said. Actually, she believed in hard work and going to school and going to church. She promoted us to go to school. In fact, out of that household, my 2 brothers got PhDs, and I went to medical school. So she was
pretty successful.
Pretty successful, but she really pushed us to get an education and to do well.
And now, what did she do for her job? What did she do for work?
My grandmother?
Your grandmother.
Well, interesting enough, my grandmother was innovative, and she actually sold corn whisk on the side from one. And she was, we had little rent houses, and that's I was telling this story to somebody in the community. About somebody went back after I graduated in college in medical school. I was back there, and I saw a man in a drugstore, and he asked about my past. And prior to that time, I was telling my wife about I was going to write a book. And she asked me, "Are you going to tell what your grandma did?" I said, "Yeah." And I was thinking about it, and when this man I saw in the store, he said, "I remember your grandmother. She had the best whisk in town."
Which is actually pretty common from what I understand. It was
my information, and I should put that in the book. Everybody knew
you should. You should.
That's what, she was, it was a paradox. That she was a, quote, God-fearing woman. She had a church every Sunday, and had Easter program. But she had this silent, and we participated, frankly. And when we compare our notes sometimes, we say, how did we even make it out of that? Except for the Lord, really. We participated, and we helped.
Right.
We help in enterprise.
Well, what you need to do is start your own, micro distillery or something with your name. It could be a big business.
She knew that. She realized that she had to stop selling whiskey because my older brother started skimming off the top. They had the bottom too. They started selling their own on the side. So she realized she got out of control. So, you know, but she didn't let us participate. But she just, she stopped after that. So, yeah.
That's interesting. Now, your mom, who was in Chicago, was she was originally from Mississippi too?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And when did she go to Chicago, just out of curiosity?
When she was a little girl, actually, when she was 18 and 19, she and my father in Mississippi, they went and got married and left, and that business never came back.
Yeah.
My father was not a stay-home dad, so my grandma recognized that she needs some help with the kids, so that's what
10 children, that's a lot.
Yeah, so
That's a lot.
so she would take the boys and raise well, actually 3 of the boys, not the other 2 that hadn't born yet.
Yeah.
But that's what happened to that. So.
Well, that's neat. Really interesting story.
Yeah,
so then, you went to live with Dr. Connor, and where did you go to school? And did you go to all the Starkville public schools for school?
Yes, I did. In fact, you know, back in that time, in 52 to 64, the schools were integrated. We had a white school and a black school.
Right.
Both separate but equal doctrine. Just false. But we had, I think the school system desegregated in 6 to 8 or 7, I'm not sure, a year. But we had we had 2 very good football programs during the time. We never played each other. But I went to the Henderson High School.
Okay, so you did go to Henderson.
And initially, the school was named Archibald County Training School.
Okay.
And from the day that that blacks were educable, they were trainable.
Right.
But they changed the school to a high school, I guess, in the 60s or the 60s.
Okay. Okay. Now, what do you remember about Henderson? Do you remember anything about Henderson? Because we've obviously, as you noticed from the title of our project, this started out to be really a project that was about the controversy over the possible closing of Henderson when they went to integrate. And so we've talked to some other people who've attended Henderson, and we've been asking them about their memories of what do you remember about Henderson, what was it like there?
I actually have really very good memories of myself. I was actually, we lived in a time where this was our school, so, I guess many of us ourselves at the time didn't think outside the box. I mean, this was our school, and we were proud of it then, and then later on, I was recognized too that, that Mississippi could not support and maintain 2 separate schools, and one, I guess, negative thing I remember, we had the books that the white children, the second-hand books every year, but they gave us the books, and over the years, when they got new books, we got better books. But initially, we had books that were horrible. Yeah. And so and same also with the courses too. And I wanted to be a doctor, but we didn't have chemistry in high school. I didn't have physics in high school either. But the good part of it, I was able to play in the band. I was playing the football team. I was a captain of my football team. We had 2 state championships, 2 district championships. And I had friends. We had a good relationship with my community and my teachers also. One of the teachers was Rosa Stewart. She was a stalwart in our upbringing. She was very instrumental in me pursuing my career in medicine.
So what kind of encouragement did she give you? What kind of? We played football, and so we had, we was a big deal on campus. But one teacher said, you don't cut my class because you're playing football. We used to leave early, but other teachers would let us leave, at 11 o'clock. We went to practice, and the game was not till tomorrow. We would leave on Thursday. Right. But on Friday afternoon, you could not leave her class. And she taught English, but she was very steadfast in that. And when I got ready to apply to this state, I had some difficulty getting signatures. And she was one of the first ladies that wrote a recommendation. She said, they fired me, I was sued them. And she wrote a recommendation for the state. But that time it was difficult to get signatures. In fact, during the time that back to going forward, the requirement for Mississippi State then was you had to have 5 graduates in Mississippi State University. I told the registrar when I wrote in the summer that
I didn't know him about was John Stennis, and he was about to write my recommendation. So, but he did wrote back and said I could get 3 members of the community, upstanding members of the community.
Ah, interesting.
So Miss Stone was one of the people.
She was one of the people.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So obviously she just saw something in you that she wanted to cultivate
I think so.
and push.
I think so. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so, yeah. And she even gave me advice about dating. About, really, she said that, she really did. I didn't go into details, but she, made me cautious about dating, about other things too. She was very involved in my life, helping students like me.
Yeah, that sounds, yeah. And did you stay in contact with her for any length of time after?
I did. In fact, when I would come over in the summer, and sometimes I would go by and talk to her and see her. She lived, I think, in the late 80s.
Wow.
And she was one of my favorites.
That's great. And now, how did Dr. Connor, obviously Dr. Connor, I've read Dr. Connor's book that he wrote with Dr. Marslack, so I know a little bit about your story. But how did Dr. Connor influence, like, your desire to go to medical school and your desire to go to MSU? What influence did he have? It sounds like he had a big influence on your life. What influence did he have?
Basically, I guess, I don't know, I was a very young age when I thought I wanted to be a doctor. But when I saw him, that was cemented. In fact, when he would, he would make house calls during the 1950s. And I think I had to have penicillin injections every week. And every time I would see him coming with this big smile on his face, he was just a happy fellow. He seemed to be, and I was just, he made me feel like I was on his patient. He's on his patient. So I sort of emulated that. I wanted to be just like him. He encouraged me not only for being a physician, being a man like him. So he was my father figure and my mentor. So that was one.
Yeah.
But in fact, he had achieved also. He encouraged me to, get a good education and stay in school. And so he seemed to have my interest at heart, and so he pushed me and encouraged me to do that. So but actually one of the articles in the paper once said that when I went to Wiley College, I had gone there because he would actually went to Alcorn College in Alcorn, Mississippi, Alcorn.
Oh, he went to.
My brother went to Wiley College, and I went behind him at Wiley in 1963.
Okay.
But Dr. Connor and I was doing at Wiley in 1963. In fact, actually 65 when I decided to come to summer school in Mississippi State.
Right.
He didn't. It wasn't a joint effort. I had planned to come to Mississippi State for the summer session, and I wrote him and told him that I was planning to come to the summer session. He was for it, so he encouraged me to apply to everybody else to attend.
So coming to Mississippi State was your idea.
Absolutely. In fact, I was read reports where it said the NAACP recruited me and the president encouraged me. In fact, we were doing my initial interview. They asked me whether I was a member of the NAACP and did they finance my education. I said, no, they had not. I wish they had.
Right.
You used to finance, but they did not.
Right. Yeah, because the NAACP did a lot of college scholarships.
Right, they did, right.
That was one of their things that they did nationally.
Right.
Yeah.
I just happened to not be aware of it, but I had a little sort of out though. So.
But clearly they saw that as not a good thing. We might say, oh great, the NAACP financed your education, but clearly that was not necessarily a good thing when they were asking.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I remember the lady's name, I won't mention the name, but from the Starford Daily News, she asked me, are you a member of any civil rights organization? I said, no. In fact, they asked me to, administration and my godfather asked me to just straight questions, don't ad lib. I said no to that question. And she went in the paper said, Holmes said he's not a member of the NAACP in any organization. I didn't mention NAACP, but that was the hated organization at that time. I went to file for a letter to this paper for ask for a retraction. My godfather said, leave it alone. Yeah. Pick your balance.
So did you have, when you decided to apply for summer school to MSU that summer, did you have any sense of that you were doing this historic thing and that this would be this, huge precedent?
look, naivete, I guess. In fact, you know, when I was at Wiley, I played football 1 year without a scholarship, but in fact, I intended not to play the second year. I had pledged to fraternity, and I was a member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, and, you know, if I had gone back to the fall, I've been big men on campus. You know, small college, 800 students, and I was well liked there, and I knew professors and the students, so when I came to the state, I planned to take summer classes. So I intended to do my pre-med class in like organic chemistry and my physics at Wiley in the fall. I would take some classes, light courses, and go back to Wiley.
Right.
So when I came, I just, you know, I didn't realize it would be a big historic event. You know.
Yeah.
You know. So once I came, and you know, just 2 days before, it was on the radio and on TV. I said, "What have I done?"
And people are trying to interview you, obviously, and
you need to make
I bet you they're calling your house, and
make a statement to the press. I said, "What press?" You know. Anyway, so, but that's and that was, in fact, when I realized my godfather, he came to me and said, "Well, you need to stay because if you leave, you know, the doors might be closed, and nobody might come after you leave." And also, another African American fellow man in the community, he had said he wanted to come to the state. His family said if I stayed, he would come.
okay.
If Holmes goes back, Richard goes back, he won't come. So there's nobody else on the horizon that may have come to state that year. So,
right. And do you remember who that other man was who was likely to sort of enroll?
Kenneth Hampton. That was his name exactly. Right.
Yeah.
He's a freshman. He had difficulties with ROTC, and you know, I was a seasoned veteran, if you will.
Right.
You know, he was a young person.
Right. Because you had been at Wiley, had you been at Wiley 1 or 2 years?
2 years.
2 years, okay.
2 years.
Yeah, so you were already a sophomore, and so
Right,
you had an idea.
And I grew up on the other side of the mountain. I was, you know, from hard knocks. I mean, it's not, you know.
Yeah.
And people say, "Well, how did you take these being there?" Well, you know, I moved from one part of the state here to Inwood, you know, but I mean, my 17-year-old freshman, you know, calling me out on my name, you know, I wouldn't make me leave. And also my grandma would turn up a grave after my quitting, so I would.
Yeah, so you were determined.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's, you know,
Did you have any fears, like, were you conscious of what had happened to James Meredith at Ole Miss at that time? And did you have any fears that similar things would happen at Mississippi State?
One reason, because, you know, I always realized that historical and Occidental County was a sort of progressive community. I grew up there, and I knew that the people now, we always had what's called good race relations, if you will. So, you know, and I feel that Mississippi State was also a different university. When James Meredith went to Ole Miss, they felt that we had violated the sanction of education. That was the elite college. If he had gone to Mississippi State, I think that would have been a different outcome in 1962. So that was the difference. The community was different, the university was different, and the administration was different. You know, Dr. Carver, doing that 2 years earlier, had allowed the basketball team to go and play in the NCAA tournament. So, you know, he was a little more progressive. In fact, he was maybe liberal for his time. So, and I never felt, I was, you know, threatened. You know, he had some incidents, but I never felt physically in danger, if you will. In fact, I was, when I enrolled, in fact, in the summer, it was very serene, you know, catcalls and windstorms, but in the fall, it was warm. And I used to walk home from campus about a mile, and the chief of police called me one day and asked me not to walk home. He said, "We can protect you on campus, but walking home is not a good idea." I said, "Oh, maybe you're right." I stopped walking home.
So somebody then had to pick you up in a car?
With my godfather dropped me off and had to pick me up. But also during that time, I lived on campus the next year, so I lived in Evans Hall was a suite. I had 2 beds, you know, about I said 1 bed one night, and I said another bed, no roommate. I said,
Now, how did it must have been pretty different to go from Wiley to Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how that was different, and did you I mean, it sounds like, as you said, you were sort of the big man on campus there, and then you, at Wiley, and then you go to Mississippi State, it's way larger, and you're the first African-American on campus. What was that like?
It was isolated, it was lonely at times, it was so much depression at times also. But, I sort of, I missed going back to Wiley. It was all nostalgia. I want to go back to Wiley, but I knew I couldn't quit, wouldn't quit. I was, isolated, and but I understood that because the state had been segregated for 87 years. So when I went there, and they were not to embrace me and welcome me, as one of their boys. So that was, some lonely times there. So the first year, they called N-word every day in some form of fashion. That was kind of difficult. They were in the cafeteria, to the table, everybody got to leave. Or the library, they got to leave. But I sort of promoted that something. I knew I didn't have to go there, but I did. I knew I had a right to be there, so I went to the cafeteria. And I know they believed. I didn't go along again.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but that would be lonely. Yeah, that would be hard.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's but overall, but I still say the faculty and administration and student body treat me with dignity and respect. 90% of them did. In fact, no student would go out of the door and close the door in my face. I always thought that was some great paradox. Right. I mean, so nobody spit on me, nobody kicked me, nobody pushed me, nobody tried to physically harm me. So that was, but during that time, when I came back one night, that night that I came back, they students did march in the house and protest.
I saw that.
We did have some death threats by telephone, but basically, and my godparents, they never told me that. About the march in the house and about the death threats on the phone. Okay. I heard that 20 years later.
Okay. So you were not home that night.
That's right.
That they marched on that. No. Okay, because his godfather talks about that in his book.
Yeah, right.
That, and he thought it was mostly students.
I think so, yeah, but probably some community people too, though. I don't know. Probably they said students. I didn't know, I wasn't there.
But you didn't. Okay, but you didn't know. Okay.
No. So they shielded me from that, so I knew that I just had no trouble on the campus, so they sealed up from it. So but nothing came to fruition.
Can I ask you to expand just a little bit on some of the things that you said about that race relations in Starkville were pretty good, and you also mentioned that the university, that Mississippi State had a kind of different atmosphere than Ole Miss. And can I ask you to just expand or elaborate on that just a little bit? Like, what do you mean by those things?
Well, I think it's sort of for some reason, it's sort of the university sort of influenced the community and vice versa. Starkville was, I don't know, because we had a university there, and the community sort of took their attitude from the university and vice versa. But I just feel like the university, when they knew I was coming, they realized that integration was here and it wasn't going nowhere. And I think they worked diligently to make sure we had an easy and tranquil transformation. And I think it was a different atmosphere in Oxford and Starkville. I would always say today it is. And I think they worked hard to make so we can do something that they didn't do, and we can have a peaceful transition without, having the riot and having a lot of racial tension.
Yeah.
I think the people are different.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of, it raises questions about like why, clearly there's, as you're suggesting, there's a different atmosphere, and that somehow influenced things.
I think so. And like I said, people, even, it surprised me, even West Point, Columbus, surrounding communities, even that fall when I went to Mississippi State, they had, incidents like church burnings in West Point, and people shooting in houses, and in surrounding counties. And in fact, when I went to state, we had also a progressive sheriff, so I guess the community sort of drew people that were aggressive and even-minded. I understand that Ku Klux Klan wanted to give me a welcome when I came to campus, but the sheriff told me they could, give me a demonstration, but it had to be in Niles County, not Otsego County, which is at the cross. And that kind of,
So from your perspective then, the kind of law enforcement agency and agencies or officers and the university were very much, you think, very much kind of in favor of that this is inevitable, we have to accept it.
Yeah, I don't know about the word in favor, but just knowing that, this is, the time's come and this, it's like a snowball that, that's across the nation, and it's something that, we can't stop and that we should, embrace eventually, but also there were financial ties that also, because of, in fact, I think someone said that we will admit the Negro in keeping institutional commitments. HGW, so
Yeah, so there's, I understand. So, how did the faculty deal with you on campus? How did the faculty react to you? You talked a little bit about the students, like some of the students obviously got up and left when you sat down in the cafeteria, but how about the faculty? How did the faculty, or did you have any contact with MSU administrators, and how did they react to you?
Interesting that you were a history department. In fact, the professors in history were my biggest supporters. Dr. D. Clayton James, you know him?
Okay, no, I don't.
With the book The Great General MacArthur.
Oh.
Researching that. MacArthur, and also Charles Quinolly.
Okay.
He's been there for science, but D. Clayton James was the author of the state.
Okay.
So he was there. I took his class. I think the first class I took, and a few faculty members, let me know they didn't want to be in that class. Dr. James and Dr. Quinley, who were my supporters. Also, my microbiology teacher, Dr. Mickelson. So that's a support of a physiology professor who let me know that when we did work on it. We had an old building, had a podium sitting there. Every time I come in the building, in the room, he would move his podium from my chair and move back and forth. We did that for a couple of days. He would block my view from here. And I just stopped running. I wasn't going to need a class, so I just stopped. He didn't want to look at my face. I was so fine, but I stayed in the class, passed it.
That's hard.
But for the most part, the faculty treated me well. They sort of encouraged me, and there was no problem. The administration also.
That's good. That's good. Were there any times that you regretted going from Wiley to Mississippi State?
Well, during the time when I was, my first year, in the midst of battle, you would have, some downtime, but before seriously thinking about leaving, no, I had no thought of leaving. No thought that I'm overwhelmed, I gotta go back. That never even crossed my mind. Sometimes, I understand I was happy all the time. I wanted to stay there. No, it wasn't the case at all. I was human. I never, no contact at all. All my friends that started had left. Right. No girlfriend, no comrades.
That would have been hard. And so then, did you spend about 2 years at Mississippi State?
About 2.5 years. Actually, I guess I was supposed to graduate in 6 or 7, but I left there I taught school there. Back in the day, we did that in California and Michigan. But before I got my degree, I went to Ellisville. I taught, high school in Ellisville, Alabama for a year. I taught biology and chemistry. And I continued to take night class and correspondence classes, and I got my degree. I finished actually my coursework in 68, but I didn't get my papers into 69, so actually my degree said 1969.
Okay. And then from there, after teaching for a high school for a year, then you went to, did you go to medical school then?
No, actually I went to California and then sort of bombed around for a year, basically to believe that. Then I got, oh God, he saw this. I bombed around for a year, basically. I lived in Berkeley, California in 1968.
Berkeley?
Berkeley.
Oh my God, yeah, so you were...
Sproul Hall, and I didn't do anything crazy though, but I was...
Yeah, I was going to say, that was the place to be in the late 60s, or not.
Not, not in my grandfather was not happy with going to Berkeley. My sister actually stayed in Berkeley, California. That's why I worked with my sister up, and I stayed with her. Anyway, but I left that. I went to the University of Arizona with my brother. He moved to Arizona with his major professor, and I went to one semester at Arizona. But I got drafted in the Army.
Oh.
And I was in the Army 2 years. I was a paratrooper and MP.
In Vietnam?
No, I didn't Vietnam. I got volunteered for airborne. I want to be a paratrooper. And in fact, when I was at the reception station, the man told me the soldiers said, you put down what countries they want to serve, and I put down Vietnam first, Germany, and America. The United States last, but I was kept in America though.
And where you
The
were?
United States.
Where are we stationed?
Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, you didn't get to go very far.
I was blessed though, because Vietnam was a horrible war, and I survived that, so that was horrible.
Yeah. And that was 2 years. 2 years.
2 years, right, 2 years. And I came back to Mississippi State and went to my master's, got my master's, and started a year of my doctorate. And I applied to the med school. I got accepted to med school, so 5 years after I left state, I got accepted to medical school in Michigan State in 1973.
Okay, okay. So can I ask what was Mississippi State like when you came back in the early 70s? Did you notice any changes?
The physical landscape had changed. There were more African American students there.
Yeah.
And but I was I was a graduate student, so I didn't stay on campus. But yeah, I noticed that the students were more involved and African American faculty members and more the numbers were increased, so it made an improvement.
Did you notice any difference in attitudes or the way African Americans were treated on campus or anything by that point?
Not really, but I had some sense of, I heard from a few students that they were not really treated well as they could have been or should have been. But I didn't see that personally at all, because I was, I think now that that's what has changed. That's changed over like the 70s and 80s. That was seemed to be sort of a standstill in race relations at that time.
Okay, I'm looking at time. All right, so we still have a few more minutes. How about you two? Would you like to? Do you have any questions? I can think of other places to go, but if you have some, I have some.
With regard to James Meredith at the University of Mississippi, were you aware of anything that happened at the University of Southern Mississippi with Clyde Kennard?
Yeah.
That had, and how did that make you think about you being the first African American student at Mississippi State?
Well, when that happened, that was I think 59 or 60. I was 14 or 15, but I still believe that Ole Miss was sort of the point of concern, I guess. Even Ole Miss was sort of the standard, I guess, for objection and for resistance. And in fact, Southern was part of that also, and I just feel that what happened to state. Like I said, it's probably naivete, but I just didn't believe that would happen to Starkville. Just didn't believe that would happen. I think Hattiesburg and Oxford were two different places, and Southern Mississippi and Ole Miss was too. I knew the people there, and I was a local boy, and I had my favorites. And in fact, and I'd say when I first came, I was there for the summer session, so I think that was sort of reduce any resistance, I guess, but I just don't feel there would be the same. I was stupid. If I was just something happened to them, but I just, I never worried about. I didn't have a fear for that. I was 20 years old. I said, if they kill me, they can't eat me. So I didn't think about death or destruction. Just didn't.
I was curious if you developed any friendships when you were at state. I know you said it was lonely when you were there first, but did you meet anybody that was friendly to you?
That's a good question. Yeah, let's bet that. Glad you mentioned that. In fact, my proctor in organic chemistry, who helped me some like equations that have been organic chemistry, and I felt a man in microbiology. For the friend me, and I said, help me, but and that friendship's going to limit it though. They would have me in class, but they couldn't talk to me on camera. When he was in the cafeteria, so. But they, and also a girl in one of my classes, I think the microbiology classes, were befriending me, and trying to be in, that context. But, there were several people there. They weren't, we just wasn't friends that we drink coffee together, go on campus together, but that kind of relationship, but I see even the ones that, I guess what I really think was positive, but everybody hold the door for me and I posed to go in my face. That was, probably all I could expect. But there were few that were friendlier than others. Good question.
Yeah, I was curious about, so you came back to state in the early 70s to work on your master's degree, and you said that the landscape has changed. Can you talk at all about, because you lived off from campus, what did the town look like racially? How had it changed, if any, since you were growing up there, student at state, and coming back and seeing it?
I'm sure in the 70s, I'm not sure what the teachers, I guess they're still struggling to get full representation. I'm not sure I was sort of lived on Satantown, and I was in and out, went to Jackson and back. It has to make some improvements. I didn't see nothing negative, because there's sort of better racial relations. There wasn't. I don't think they had come to the point they are today, but they have made some improvement. Though I can't really say in a particular incident. I don't know what happened, but it was a degree of friendship that sort of improved over the years.
What have you noticed about how Mississippi State, since you still live in the area generally, I know you don't live in Starkville anymore, but since you still live in the area generally, what have you noticed about how Mississippi State and Starkville have changed since you were a boy? What things do you notice about State and the town? What do you think have changed? What maybe hasn't changed?
Well, I guess the biggest thing is that, the landscape, physical landscape of Mississippi State and Starkville. It's sort of, a more progressive town, and we have more industry or places to eat, and now we sort of dubbed the title of Stock Bakers.
Oh, yeah.
We have more activity and nicer restaurants, and on campus, we have more buildings, and I'm proud to say also we have more African American faculty.
Yeah.
And it's got to be great to see the football team and the basketball team. That's about 85% African American. But when I first came to state in 1968, the first African American to play on, that was back in the day when SEC teams did not play integrated football team. But Mark Bay from University of Houston came and played on campus there. So it's the following years we had African American students, maybe 1 or 2. Now we have 85–90%. So that's we're integrated in every phase of sports and life, and also in the faculty and administration. That's encouraging. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Does the university? Well, clearly they bring you out. They invite you into the campus periodically to talk about your experiences, and does that give you any sense of pleasure, or does that help to sort of rectify clearly some of the difficult, it would have been hard to be isolated like that as a college student. How does the university treat you today?
They treat me very well today. They think, in fact, they treat me like a celebrity back then. So since graduated, they named the Cultural Diversity Center of
I
Honor
know.
for her. They
Yeah.
invited me to be named the alumnus of the year, like in 2006. And they invited me to give the commencement speech in 2003. So they actually donate my papers to these archives, and my papers were have. So basically, they treat me quite well, and it's I'm honored and blessed. But they over the years, I have done the love of the university. They treat me quite well, really. So, and when I go back, I mean, it's just a pride in when I go back and talk to the students, and especially the students I talk to have no clue what happened 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Not even 3 years ago. But so it's a good feeling, really.
Yeah. So, are African American students there also surprised to hear what you went through?
What?
Are the African American students you talked to also surprised to hear what you went through and what it was like?
I think they are, but no one really has said that. But I'm sure the questions they ask, so it's some disbelief because I'm older than some of their parents.
Yeah.
So for me to see what happened, and I talked, I sitting in the cafeteria by myself, and library people are leaving, and so it's that's something that they is unimaginable.
Do you have any sense too of how Dr. Connor, clearly Dr. Connor you said was very supportive of you doing this. How did he reflect on this as he got older and sort of watched you obviously succeed? You got through MSU, you came back for a master's degree, you went on for a medical degree. How did he react to some of what you were doing?
Interesting enough, he was a very quiet man in a way for our relationship, and I think he never just said, "I'm really, really proud of you," but I think he was. So, I had because he kept up with my career, my future. In fact, when I was in high school, when I was running amok, and he had said when I graduated, he didn't think I was going to graduate from high school. So, but anyway, so over the years, he was. I think he's proud of me. I didn't shame him. I didn't embarrass him. But I think I made him proud. And I think my real parents, my mother, she got a 7-year med school. I think she's proud of him. Also, my grandmother immensely proud. She had died when I was 12.
Yeah. But it sounds like she was setting you on your way.
Oh, absolutely. She died when I was 12. So in fact, when she died when I was 12, I didn't start living with Dr. Carter. I was 14. So I was basically unsupervised for 2 years.
And did you live with were your brothers older than you were?
Well, my older brother had gone to the Air Force, and my other brother had gone to Wiley. And George, my immediate brother, he had just got married. And his wife was 18, but she was our guardian. We just met her. She didn't. We told her what to do. I was 12, my brother was 13.
Right. The kids were in charge.
Oh, absolutely. We were seasoned warriors.
I'm conscious of time, and you've been very generous with your time, but I was wondering, maybe as a wrap-up.
I got a few minutes.
Okay. What are some other things that you want to know about you? What we should know about you? What your experiences were? What are some things that we haven't asked you about that you'd like to talk about?
I've told you too much. My grandma was selling the
whiskey. I like the whiskey story.
The treasure house there. But I have a wife. Wife for 40 years. In fact, I met my wife. I came out of the Army, and I was with my master. And we have a mutual friend in Columbus. And he wanted me to meet this girl, a nice girl, and I put it off for several months. And I just knew that she was 300 pounds, and whatever. Anyway, but I said, "What kind of meet her?" Because I didn't want to offend him. I said, "Well, finally meet." In fact, we never dated, but one day he came to me and said, "We have an African American ball on campus. And she's come to the ball. She wants to come. I'll bring her, and you can meet her there." And I met her at this ball, and that was it.
Oh, that's funny.
We dated. In fact, during the time we met, I was getting ready to come for my interview for medical school. And she had me practice for my interview and anyway, but we dated long distance, about a year and a half, and got married the next year. And I met her, and that's I was just a girl for me.
Oh, that's great.
We have two children,
Two children.
Rakita and Richard Jr. We lost our son a couple years ago as a veteran. He died of a drug overdose. Since that time, we established a foundation that is honored doing that on it. I can help him, bring him back, but veterans who are struggling with addiction and PTSD, going through homeless.
And what do your two children do now?
My daughter's in fashion design, and she's living in Jacksonville, Florida. And she went to school in Dallas. But she and her husband live in Jacksonville. We have two grandkids, 6 and 10, and in fact, we're trying to get them to move to Columbus.
Right. You can do fashion design over the internet now. So
I guess so. Probably pretty much in Columbus, but we want to try to get her and bring the kids to live with us. You know, we're working on it. But you know, it's been a pleasant journey. You know, I had to. You know, in fact, like I said, do I have any regrets? I don't have any regrets to going straight there and looking back. I'm proud that I did.
And what does your son do?
Son.
Your son, right? Your daughter lives in Jacksonville, and your
Son-in-law.
oh, okay.
Son, my son died.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But
I'm sorry.
son-in-law is he's an engineer with John Mack.
I'm sorry. Oh, I gotcha.
He's a foundation.
I thought that was another.
Yes, my son-in-law.
Sorry. Well, neat.
Also, at Mississippi State, they awarded me an honorary doctorate.
Oh, did they really? That's great.
Yes, for my contribution to education and medicine.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. And you continue to work, obviously, so.
In fact, I retired twice. In fact, in 2002, 2003, I came to work at Mississippi State in the Health Center. Student position and team football, team position for 5 years.
Oh, really?
Yes, I worked there. Right. You remember Jackie Sherrill, the football coach? When I was working at the health center, he was the coach that we had coach Sherrill had an entourage about, we had 12 positions on the sideline, and I was one of them. When Coach Kroom came on board, you know, he sort of reduced that number. No Sherrill to cut out the fluff, so I was one of the guys that couldn't berate around anymore. But that was an interesting time. I enjoyed what I was doing.
Well, especially your background in football, that would have been, I would think that would have been fun.
Well, I was more of a physician. I didn't do anything. I was a great player. I did play 1 year. But I played football in high school.
But you must have liked it.
I was too small to play college football. But anyway, I was a blessed life.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like it. Well, are there any other questions from you two? As I said, I knew you had time limitations. Well, then we'll stop then. And thank you.
Okay, thank you.